This is the Week 14 Fantasy Football Preview of the Green Bay Packers at Detroit Lions. Brought to you by Fantasy Football Time. Follow us at Fantasy FB Time on all social media platforms. Welcome to Week 14, Packers and Lions fans. We have Buymageddon this week, part 2 for a lot of people, so stay tuned for some of those fantasy plays that you might need to take a look at for this week with short players, or when you're short on players for championship week. Looking at the Packers last week, they get the win against Miami. You have Jordan Love with 20 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Josh Jacobs puts up another good performance with over 100 yards and a score, 4 catches. You like to see him in their catching game as well. Jayden Reed gets 18 fantasy points on a very effective 3 catches, 2 touchdowns. Tucker Kraft also making another pretty good appearance with 7 catches. Lions last week getting the win, I believe it was overtime against Chicago. Chicago certainly had a chance out there, but those rivalry games always come down to weird plays, right? So you got Jared Goff, 19 fantasy points, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't really hit his forecast, but he still gets 100 yards in the day, just no scores in that fumble. Amon-RA St. 5 catches, 73 yards, not what we'd like to see. Montgomery, 14 fantasy points. Again, he gets his forecast, but not in a great way. Jameson Williams doesn't really do too much either. LaPorta, on the other hand, 3 catches, 6 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's about as thin of efficiency as you can expect. Looking at this week, we have Detroit as the home favorite under a really great matchup. You love the 50-point over-unders. Now, sometimes these defenses can spoil that, but let's pray that we can get some good offense going. Packers, you can put some of these additional Packers beyond Jacobs and Reed in your lineups if you're hoping for that touchdown shootout. They are very touchdown dependent. Jacobs and Reed have a good fantasy floor. Obviously, Jordan Love is playable as a QB as well. Lions defense held the Bears last week, 220 points. The Colts to 6 and Jacksonville to 6. But we know the Packers are way better than all of these teams. But just know that the Lions do have a good defense. 5 sacks against Chicago, so take that out of it. Not a lot of pressure or turnovers. So they do have a good defense, but just know that they can be scored on. I think you can definitely get 3 touchdowns if you're the Packers. Lions, you have Goff, Gibbs, St. Montgomery, Williams, LaPorta, Partridge in a Pear Tree. I mean, you could certainly play any of these Lions. You might be able to go down another rung or two if you really wanted to. But honestly, if Jared Goff can cook, you certainly can get 4 touchdowns from this group. But again, don't overlook the Packers defense. They held Miami to 17, San Francisco to 10, and Chicago to 19. So San Francisco, we know, was dinged up that week, so you could kind of throw that out there. I think the Lions certainly can get 4 touchdowns with this group. Will they? I mean, it's ambitious to say, but let's be positive. 10 sacks, so they will put pressure on Goff, but he can get rid of the ball. 4 turnovers in 3 weeks. They can put some pressure on the receivers and the running backs as well. But again, I think 4 touchdowns is fine across this group. Thanks so much for watching. Follow and subscribe at Fantasy FB Time. Welcome to Week 14. God bless.